find attractive about a mate? Their smile, their eyes, you know, the way they will look at you in a way when they're talking to you, or when they're listening to you talk, and the way they look at you, like they're like they have this look in their eyes, or they have this look on their face, kind of like they're like they just met the best person in their life. That's what I find attractive, is a man who, you know, who will makes you feel important, makes you feel pretty, you know? So makes you feel like you're the only woman in the world that they're attracted to. That's what I find attractive in a man. You know, apart from the physical, you know, the teeth, you know, the smile, their eyes, you know, is them, you know, just seeing me as like the only person in the world that they want to be with. You know, that's what I find attractive. Question number 17. How old were you when you got your driver's license? I was 19 years old when I got my driver's license, but I didn't start driving until I was 16. I started to drive when I was 16. I paid for my own car. I had a job. You know, I grew up too fast, I think. I don't think I had a really good normal childhood to begin with. Like, normal enough to where I was able to play outside, you know, with the kids, with friends and stuff like that. But I think I kind of like, once I started to hit 13, once puberty hit and I was able to work and I started to know what money was and what money can get you, I started to be more interested in that. And so I think I focused myself on that, on the money aspect of my life, you know, trying to, you know, work and making money to buy things that I liked, you know. So, you know, hey, what's the surprise there? You know, I love to shop. I think a lot of beauty influencers love to shop, so there's no big surprise there, you know, that when I knew that, you know, working, well, everybody knows that even at a young age, that when you work, you make money and then you get to spend money. So yeah, I saw cha-ching, you know, in my eyes when I was starting to work, and I paid my own bills. I paid for my braces. I paid for my own food. I paid for my own clothes. I paid for my own car. I was making payments. I was 16 years old, already making payments on my car. I was already had braces, making my payments for my braces. You know, got my cell phone, my beeper at that time, pagers. You know, everything I paid was with my own money growing up. I never asked my parents for not one single dime. They did give me shelter. They gave me a place to live, because I was still young. I wasn't 18 yet. I wasn't really old enough to leave the house. So, but other than that, they didn't have to worry about buying me anything, because I bought my own food. Like I said, the list, I like kind of like supported my own self growing up in a way as like, you know, food, clothing, books, supplies, you know, anything that I needed, I was able to buy, you know, because I had money, because I was working. Okay, so the next question is number 18. My first pet. My first pet, I want to say, was a cat. I want to say I had cats for pets. Yeah, I had cats for pets growing up, and then from there I had a hamster, I had a cockatiel, and then I had dogs, and then now I'm just with the dog. I also had fish, turtles. What else did I have? Yeah, I think I might have had more than that, but I think those are, for the most part, those are the most pets I had. My first pet was a cat. The 19, the sickest I've ever been. Okay, so growing up, before I hit puberty, I was sick with asthma. Like, I think when I was 9 years old is when I grew out of my asthma. But there was this time when I was, I'm gonna say I was like eight. I think it was 9 years old when I actually kind of grew out of my asthma. I was like 9 years old, and I can remember that I needed my inhaler, or I needed something to relieve me from asthma. And I got that from my dad's side. I got the asthma from my dad's side, because my dad had asthma as well growing up. Even as he got older, he kind of had asthma flare-ups at times, but not all the time. But yeah, so asthma was one of the sickest I've ever been. When I was 9 years old, I remember I was laying down on the couch, and I was, you know, just breathing really, really hard, and you know, trying to catch my breath. And my parents, you know, my dad was at work, my mom was there, and I had my uncle there. But they both were just keeping an eye on me just to make sure that I was fine until my dad got home, so my dad could do something about taking me either to the hospital or getting me some medicine. They were just making sure that nothing was wrong. I guess they didn't think to call 911. I don't know why, but I can tell my mom was worried because I seen her at one point that she looked like she wanted to cry, and she had to tell my uncle, her brother, to keep an eye on me because she just couldn't see me like that no more. I think she was crying. And but I was just breathing in, and I think from the grace of God, you know, he's the one that helped me through. And at the end, you know, I finally got the treatment that I needed. I think it went away on its own, really. Like when my dad got there, got home from work, I think I had stopped breathing really hard. I was breathing more normally. Like my asthma just cleared up after that. Like it just went away. So I just kind of went through that. I can see where my chest was going up and down, up and down, up and down. And, you know, because I was trying to, you know, catch my breath, like trying to get a good breath. Like the asthma was really flaring up in my lungs. I mean, I could have died, but I survived it. So, and then the next sickest I've been was when I got COVID. Yeah, I caught COVID back in January, and I was really sick. I was able to I had COVID. I had no idea I had COVID until I had a fever. I was able to taste, smell. I was able to taste, smell, hear. What else? See? I don't know what were the symptoms that you had COVID, because I wasn't asymptomatic, but I didn't have a cough. I only had was a fever, and then my fever broke after 5 days. But it was low grade fever. Like after 3 days, okay, my first 3 days I had like 101 degree temperature, and I was taking Tylenol, like the extra strength Tylenol, and I took it for 3 days. And then on the 4th day, I didn't take the Tylenol anymore because there was a warning on the Tylenol bottle that says you can only take it for 3 days. You know, after that, go seek a doctor. But my pharmacist told me that's only for people who just have regular headaches, but you had COVID, so you were able to take it as long as you needed it. And I was like, well, I decided not to, because it did say it would damage your kidneys or something like that, and I didn't want any damages done to my body than what damages, you know, COVID would have caused after me having COVID, you know, because COVID does cause some damages to your body. If you're not aware of that, go look up COVID and what the long-term COVID does to your body if you have it, and how long it takes for COVID, you know, symptoms to leave your body. It takes a long time. Sometimes it takes up to 3 years. But so yeah, so that was the sickest I was. There would be times that I'd be able to get out of bed and I'd feel fine, and all of a sudden I just feel like just something just knocks me down, like where I'm like, I feel like, okay, I can't get up no more. I start to feel like, okay, I need to lay down. I start to feel tired. But yeah, those were the only symptoms that I had. I really didn't have any major symptoms, so I was very fortunate. I didn't have the vaccine either. I didn't put the vaccine on, and I don't have the vaccine now, but I just never wanted to get the vaccine. I don't think I'll ever will get the vaccine. I don't know. I can't say never, but as far as I know now, I don't think I'm going to get the vaccine. But yeah, so I caught the COVID, and then that was the sickest I've ever was. Favorite slang words. My favorite slang words are cool, awesome, and nice. Those are my 3 favorite slang words. That's really what I usually say anyways. Something I do that bugs my kids. Well, I don't have any kids. I can't answer that one. Favorite candy bar. True story. Not a story, but true fact about me is that I was never allergic to anything until I started getting older. As you age, so for those who are young and you're in your 20s and 30s, you might come across, you know, health issues once you grow a little bit more older. But I used to not be allergic to shrimp, but I'm allergic to shrimp now. So and then I was never allergic to nuts, but I started having like a sensitivity to nuts just recently, like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I started realizing that anything that I ate that had either was processed in a factory with nuts or pistachios. I would eat pistachios. I would always feel like this feeling. I would have a sensitivity, maybe not an allergic reaction, but a sensitivity to nuts, where I start to feel like, you know, I start to breathe a little bit more deeper, a little bit more harder, and I'm like, why do I feel this way, you know? So, but I think I might have a sensitivity to nuts, and I know that's going to come across another question coming up here, but so my favorite candy bars were anything that had nuts in them. Those are my favorite candy bars. I never had a particular favorite candy bar. The only one I did have candy bars that I disliked. I disliked the Almond Joys. I disliked the Mounds. I disliked Snickers. For some reason, I didn't like Snickers. I did not like Snickers for nothing, for anything. So those were like the three things I did not like from candy bars. But everything else I loved. Okay, what else? The next question is, what makes me more anxious? Oh my goodness, traffic. Whenever you're driving, actually whenever I'm driving to go to work in the mornings and I see all this traffic, I feel like I start to get like social anxiety. But I think it's more like, not so, you know how some people have social anxiety and they get anxious when they're around a lot of people, or yeah, when they're around people. Well, I get anxious when I'm around a lot of cars, when there's a lot of cars and I'm in my car, and then I feel like I get motion sickness. So I think with that feeling and with all the cars, I start to feel real sick. My stomach starts to get really tight, and I start to feel like I'm going through like a little panic attack, a little anxiety attack. But it's just because I'm having to go through the traffic. It's just so unbearable. Like, I'm like, ugh. But I deal with it every day. I deal with that every day, and then it's gotten a little better. I have my days where it is bad, where I'm like, oh gosh, please no. And it's around the time of the month, you know, for the women, where I start to get where it's more, you know, I get more anxious. I get more of that tightness in my belly, you know, around that time. But other days I'm okay. But that's what makes me more anxious. It's just driving on the freeway and having a lot of cars just in traffic. That's what makes me more anxious. Okay, question number 24. Best comfort food for me is fettuccine alfredo with chicken, and I think the one that I like the most from the Italian dish is the chicken Florentine. That one is a Italian dish. It is the chicken fettuccine, but they give you, I think they have little pine seeds in there, and supposedly it's supposed to be like allergic to nuts and stuff, but isn't it pine nuts? They have pine nuts in it. So I would think I'd be allergic to it, but I'm not. I'm not allergic to pine nuts. I eat them in the food. I eat it in that chicken Florentini. It has pine nuts. It has I think spinach, or it has, I don't know what it has in there. It has tomatoes. I don't know. It's so delicious. So that's one of my favorite comfort foods. I don't make it, but there's this restaurant that's not really close to my house, but maybe like 15-20 minutes away from my house, that if I'd want to go drive over there and get it, you know, if I really had a bad day, or really had a day like I need some really good comfort food, I'd go to that place and I'd go get that chicken Florentine, or I'll just make spaghetti at the house. That's what I usually would make. Like spaghetti would be something that I would actually make at the house for comfort food. All right, so question number 25. Nicknames my husband calls me. Well, that's not relevant to me. Sunrise or sunset. You know what? To me, it doesn't make a difference to me, because I'm not really fond of. And I envy the people who are fond of the sunrise or sunset, or both. Like Erica Conger, she says that she likes sunrise and sunset, and I'm like, I really don't like either or. I don't like the sunrise. I don't like the sunset. I really don't see the joy in the sunrise, and I really don't see the joy in the sunset. I'm gonna be honest with you. I live in a state where the sun rises and it's really hot, and it blinds your eyes when you're driving the traffic. I don't like that. And and I see stars and little sparkly, like starbursts. I start to see starbursts, you know, from the sun hitting my eyes during the sunset. You know, when it sunsets and the eyes are just the sun is just hitting your eyes. And then during the sunrise, it's so bright. You know, whenever you're outside, you have to have sunscreen or you'll get burnt to death. You get like sunburned. So I guess I had to say neither. I cannot find, I guess if I were to find some joy in a sunrise or sunset, would probably be that it's just another day. And a sunset would be, it's the end of the night. I guess that's the only joy that I can find in a sunset or sunrise. Favorite song of all time. So in Erica's question that she answered, that she said she said that song, Every Breath You Take by The Police. And I found that was kind of, you know, me and her had that in common, because growing up, that was one of my favorite songs to hear on the radio, was Every Breath You Take. And I know she says it's like about a stalker, but I don't know. I just thought of it as being like a love song more than a stalkery song. More like this guy is so in love with you that he's willing to be with you with every breath you know. I don't know. I just found it like a love song. But my all-time favorite songs would be Selena songs, because I love Selena, and that's what I heard growing up, was a lot of her songs. I think Jennifer Lopez did a really, really, really great job playing her role in the movie Selena. But yeah, Selena would be one of my all-time favorite singers, along with Michael Jackson and Prince. But Selena was one of my favorite ones, because I think I kind of, not that I could have related to some of her songs, because I wasn't in love. I mean, I was, not that I related to all of her songs, but her songs were more about love, you know. And I was a teenager, and you know, when you're a teenager, you have a crush on a boy, and you're like, oh yeah, you know. So sometimes those songs kind of do, like, it can be relatable to me, but mostly I love the genre. It was the genre of the music. It was more like you know, music that you can dance to, and I liked her signature dance, where she does that twirl, her signature twirl, where she, you know, where she twirls, you know, in her dance moves. She does a signature twirl. But so yeah, that was my all-time favorite song album. Number 28, most annoying sound would probably like nails on the chalkboard. That would be like the most annoying sound, or just a lot of like honking, when people are just honking at you, just beep beep, and they're like just honking. Ooh, I cannot stand that sound. I just want to go out there and tell them, shut up, you know. I'm like, when they're just honking, I'm like, and they're like, I mean, it's like early in the morning, people are sleeping, and why are you honking your freaking darn car, you know, trying to get people to get, you know, you're waking up people in the neighborhood, you know. But yeah, that is the most annoying sound for me, is that and nails on a chalkboard. Question number 29. Bravest thing I've ever done. Save a kitten from dying. The bravest thing I've ever done. Alright folks, I think I'm going to stop here, and I'll come back to answer the rest of the questions, because I have to take this mask off, because I feel like it's ready to come off. Do another peel challenge. I'm going to go ahead and put this in my hashtag peel challenge. Alright, so give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Whew, that was good. Okay, I just came back on. I am the champion. I am the champion. Anyways, yeah, I peeled it off. No tears. Was able to peel it off. Right off. So yeah, hashtag peel challenge. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, it's pink for the month of October. All right, anyways, enough of that. Peeled it right off. So let's get going with these questions. I'm almost done. So the bravest thing I've done in my life that I would say would be an advocate for my mother growing up, because my mom, she knows how to speak English and Spanish, but she really needed like somebody to help her interpret things. And so at a very young age, I had to be that for my mom. And so I kind of learned, I think that's the reason why I think I grew up kind of fast. I worked since I was young, you know, and supported my own self, like in a way I supported my own self. But because my mom needed me to interpret, you know, things for her and from Spanish to English, you know, so that I can you know, so that I can help my mom with what she needed to help with, or what she was looking for. Like if she needed to pay a bill, you know, she wanted me to translate for her. Maybe it may not be a big deal for those, but I really do commend those who are family who are multilingual. I do commend them, because at a young age, you know, you learn, you know, I grew up in a household where you spoke English and Spanish. So growing up learning those two languages kind of really helped me along the way, being bilingual, and really helped a lot. And, you know, as far as career or job goes, and being an advocate for my mother, because she wouldn't, you know, at that time, she wouldn't speak English. If she did, she spoke very little English, but they wouldn't understand, or she couldn't explain herself very well. So I had to be the one to explain for her. And then there'd be times that there'd be words that I couldn't translate, and yeah, she would get frustrated with me, but then I'd kind of get it. I'd get the point across to whoever I'm talking to. It could be either a person at the store who I'm paying, who my mom was paying bills with, who had to pay bills or had to get money orders, speak to a manager, or get on the phone to talk to a representative. Adult things that normally a child wouldn't be involved in doing, because, you know, they're kids, you know, having to play, you know, you're a kid, you know, playing with toys and everything. But whenever you're having to be pulled away to talk grown-up things, you know, and you're pulled to do that because, you know, you have a parent who really doesn't know how to speak English. And I knew both. I knew both languages growing up. So I'm very blessed learning two languages growing up. And then even as an adult now, even as an adult now, I'm still an advocate for my mom. And then I think the bravest thing, I guess I'm gonna make this okay, so the bravest thing I would say was that I had to be an advocate for my mom at a young, not only when I was, you know, as a translator to translate for my mom, but also, you know, making a decision, adult decision to do with my mom that normally you wouldn't expect a person my age, you know, my age at the time, which I was like 16, maybe 15, 16, calling all your aunts and uncles, letting them know where you're at, because you had to do something like take your mom to the emergency room and then be the one filling out the paperwork, and it's in English. So yeah, I understood, you know, all the hard, you know, how you had to fill out, you know, the paperwork forms and stuff. And, you know, when you go to the hospital, and I think that was the bravest thing that I've ever done, was to be an advocate for my mom. And up until now, I still am. And it's a lot. It's a lot, because it's hard for me to talk about it, because, you know, it's not that it wasn't a pleasant experience for me. It was just more like I felt like at a young age I had to be grown up, you know, at a young age. So I mean, it's not, you know, I don't feel like it's hard for me to talk about it now, but it is one of the topics that is kind of touching, you know, it's kind of like a touching topic about having to be an advocate for your mom, because, you know, she's needing your help, you know, and then I had to help her, and you're the only person that they're able, because you have your siblings that are younger than you, and you have no other person that is able to help you in situations, in adult situations, when it comes to, like I said, if you need to take your mom to the hospital, and then you have to talk to the doctors and talk about issues, certain situations, you know, about your mother, and you're like, it's kind of, you know, it, in a way, I think that's why I kind of grew up a little too fast, and I kind of grew up knowing more about the world at a young age because of that, being an advocate for my mom. So yeah, so I think that was one of the bravest things I've ever done in my life, apart from other things as well, you know, like, you know, doing things that other kids didn't want you to were too scared to do. I had to be brave, be the brave one, and do it because nobody wanted to do it, you know. But anyways, that's getting off topic. So number 30, any living grandparents? No, I don't have any living grandparents. Sadly, my last grandmother passed away, I want to say 10 years already. It's been like 10 years that she's passed away, or maybe 7 or 8 years already that she has passed away. Very sad about it. But yeah, so yeah, no living grandparents right now. It would have been a blessing if I did. Number 31, something I love to learn. Erica made her answer that she liked to learn how to crochet, and that was one thing that I wanted to learn. Knitting, you know, growing up, I want to learn how to knit, you know, with the yarn, the ball of yarn, and those knitting sticks, those knitting needles. Yeah, I wanted to learn how to knit. And I think that also that goes along the same realm of crocheting, right? I'm not sure if it's, you know, and then like, and would like to learn how to do the embroideries, you know, when you're knit or when you're crocheting, you know, it gets really intricate, you know, really, yeah, I would have liked to have learned, I would like to have learned how to do that. And on top of other things, there's a lot more things I'd like to have learned, you know, how to sing, dance, model, just, I don't know. I think I was just too much. I was just too much as a kid. I think I was just extra growing up as a kid. I just loved everything. I was just such a, like, I loved everything growing up. I don't know. I think I was just different than, I don't know. I'm just going to shut up. Hi again. Stay tuned for my third part of my video. So hopefully y'all be able to join me on this Mass Monday journey for the day. It was a Mass Monday marathon for me today.